Welcome to I Want That, getting the dates, love, and life you crave. I'm your host, Liza Cooper, a love and dating coach and founder of the online group workshops, Find Love After 50. My story of finding love and, more importantly, reawakening all the parts of me I thought were gone forever after 50 and after divorce went viral on social media because it resonated for so many. Join me in my podcast as I interview couples, singles, and experts to uncover what love means in all of its beautiful forms, including the hurdles and how to overcome them. I'll also share the questions strangers have asked me on the streets of New York City about dating and relationships, where I'm known as the love coach. Together, we'll have powerful conversations that light the path to getting everything you want in life, especially in matters of the heart. In this next episode, Season 1, The Bachelor Files, Episode 4, He Hated Kids. What was I thinking? How could I date a guy who hated kids when I have a kid? How did we navigate that? Tune in. Before we show my interview with The Bachelor, listen to a quick clip of me talking to a woman about being single on the streets of New York City, where I'm known as the love coach.
Are you single or dating?
Yeah. I was in a relationship for a while, and I'm really happy to be single now. I'm traveling right now, and I'm grateful that I can come here by myself. I don't have to worry about texting anyone or missing anyone, or I can just travel on my own, and that's cool.
So you had an interesting connection with my son, who was 9, like had just turned 9 when we met. Can you share about the first time you met him? Do you remember that?
That was funny. Well, it was that weekend of your birthday. We met and I gave you your gift and we were just about to go off to Asbury Park. And you were still living in the same building. I think you still are with your ex and your son. And sure enough, we get into the elevator and your ex and your son are there. And it was funny because I was so impressed with your son. I think you, me, and your ex were kind of making eye contact and saying nothing. And then it was Liam who, can I say his name?
Yeah.
It was Liam who broke the silence. I recall he kind of extended his hand to me and introduced himself to me. And yeah, I
Yeah.
was just very impressed. He was the right level of precocious. There was a confidence there. There was an extroverted quality, but it wasn't one of these annoying precocious qualities that a kid can sometimes have. And yeah, I mean that just became a funny moment because I think neither one of us was trying to rush some meeting with your son, and sure enough, we all end up in the same elevator, and I believe we had luggage, so it was quite clear we were going on a trip.
We had luggage. The elevator, which is always empty, was packed to the
Yeah.
rafters. Like we couldn't even move. So there were all these witnesses. And in fact, I later that week was in the laundry room, and one of the like hot dads from the building approached me and he's like, I loved that elevator
Mm.
interaction. I'm like, you were there? And he said, are you kidding? Where you introduced the boyfriend to your son and your ex-husband? He's like, we were all dying in there, and so we were literally being watched and witnessed. Like that was a whole thing that people knew was happening.
Yeah, no, it was something out of a movie.
Yeah, it was pretty amazing. And then you met him again, and it was a little bit more dramatic. And remember that one?
Sure, I got a phone call I think we had been at your bungalow.
I think it was Asbury Park, and
Yeah,
sort of the
we'd
the
been
root of all
together.
problems.
Yeah, we had been together, and I get a phone call from you, and you're like, "Are you sitting down?"
I think I started with, I have something to tell you. I'm not pregnant. I don't have a sexually transmitted disease. And
I'm
you're
by
like,
the way.
good. Then I said, Liam has head lice and you need to be checked.
Yes. Did
And
you
I
have
said, and
lice too?
I had it too. They were crawling down my forehead, apparently. Yeah.
Horrible. Yeah.
Yeah. And so you came to the delousing salon where I was with Liam.
Yeah, it's a
And
great place for a date.
yeah, and you met him
And
there. And
it's not every woman that asks you to get deloused.
I mean, it was quite, and I was so scared to call you because I knew you were such a germ phobe. You didn't like bugs. Like it was almost, and you didn't like kids. So this was like your nightmare. Like that second date was my nightmare, but this was yours.
Like I said to Liam, I know you wanted to get to know me, but you didn't have to get head lice to do it. Spend some time
Yeah.
together.
You were like, we could have just gone for an ice cream or something like that. Um, but Liam was so scared. He was like, Mom, he's gonna hate me. He's gonna hate me. I'm like, oh, don't worry a thing. He'll only hate me, and that was
But it was,
quite a scene.
but it was really
Um,
kind of a charming moment, I thought, between us. Like, it wasn't awful. I mean, I think we acknowledged that this was not fun, but I think we kind of rolled with it. It did. I walked away with, I remember coming home thinking, okay, it's not always going to be head lice. Sometimes it'll be, I don't know, a fall and there's stitches. It was some level of a reminder that you have a 9-year-old son, and
yeah,
that to be a serious, significant person in your life, Liam would become a serious person in my life. And there was sort of a feeling of, do I want to be, I won't say father role, but uh, in that it wasn't only going to be head lice. There were other things. And it wasn't some, red flag between us, at least on my end, but it was just a reminder that, you uh, our dating life wouldn't just be about going to moths and plays and romantic dinners, and that there was a deeper level of, your kid wasn't out of the house, and that
yeah,
would be a part of it. And it wasn't like, well, I can't do this, but it was, I remember the cab ride home, that being in my head, just as
interesting.
we're at different lifestyles a little bit.
Yeah. And now, do you feel differently these days dating a woman with kids, or you totally cross that off your list, or what's your thought now?
Um, I don't think I'm a great match for someone who has a young kid. I think in the case of Liam, he's the kind of kid that I could have enjoyed spending time with. And I know we did end up once in the same hotel in Asbury Park years later, and we kind of got to experience one night of what that might have been like, where we went out for pizza on the boardwalk at Asbury Park. And it was actually very fun. And it was just sort of spur of moment thing. And I recall talking a lot of basketball with Liam, and it was it was sort of like me and him were walking together, and you were like about 10 steps ahead, 10 steps behind. And I very much enjoyed it.
In that night in Asbury Park with my son, you and I ran into each other on a dating app, and
Yes.
you were like, "Oh my God, you're in Asbury Park. Let's meet up."
Bumble. The
I'm
sun
like,
was
"I'm with
Bumble.
my kid." Thanks for tuning into I Want That, The Bachelor Files, episode 4. He hated kids. He came to like my kid, okay? So you never know. People can surprise you. But it was definitely a sticking point that I have a kid and kids have kid things. And he wasn't into that. So we navigated lice and everything else. But he still digs my kid. And I think that's important to know. And I'll also say that
On Series 1, The Bachelor Files, Episode 5, Why Did You Break My Heart? I asked The Bachelor how he felt about my viral moth story, and if I was on point calling him someone who wasn't a fan of love. And I asked him quite pointedly, why did he think he was wasting my time? And why did he break my heart? Tune in.
if you liked my podcast, I Want That, please subscribe to my channel so you know when updates are coming and new episodes drop. Also, like it, comment, and share. Thank you.